Dear friends, English Literature, Introduction to Drama, Arms and the Man by George Bernard Shaw. Short questions with answers. Short questions 43 to 51. Question 43. Describe the relation between Nicola and Loka. Answer. Nicola is the manservant and Loka is the maidservant of the Petkov family. They are engaged to each other. When they are engaged in a private conversation, he rebukes her for her defiant manners as a maidservant and asks her to be obedient and respectful to the mistress and her daughter. He warns her that if they are mistresses, Catherine suspects that Loka, is defying her. She will dismiss her from her service. Loka tells him that she does not care for her mistress and insists on continuing to defying her. Upon this, Nicola says that if she continues to quarrel with the family, he cannot marry her because he wants to start a shop in Sofia after his marriage, depending on the patronage of the Petkov family. Loka says that the Petkov dares not quarrel with her because she knows some familiar secret. She will disclose the secret if they quarrel with her. Nicola says that he also knows the family secrets, but he never wants to disclose them. He says that servants should always be obedient and faithful to their masters. Upon this, Loka becomes angry and says that if he has the soul of a servant, to this he replies that it is the secret of success in life. Question 44. How is Nicola different from Loka? Answer. Nicola and Loka are servants serving in the same family, but they are entirely different from each other in their nature. Nicola is a loyal and faithful servant. He has been serving the Petkov family for 10 years. He has no high ambition. He wants to start a shop in Sofia depending on the patronage of the Petkov family. He thinks that their support will help him much in earning money, and if they speak ill of him, he will have no customers and his business will be ruined. He is practical minded. He is every inch a servant and considers servility as the secret of success in service. He has the practical wisdom of an experienced man. Loka, on the other hand, is defiant and disobedient. She has a revolutionary spirit. She is very proud and ambitious. She has not the soul of a servant. She is bold in her talk and manners. She does not respect her mistress. She rather goes against the wishes of her mistress. She tells Nicola that if the Petkov say anything against her, she will teach them a lesson by disclosing their secrets. Nicola thinks that she has no experience of the world, but she is a spirited woman. She is independent in her attitude and tries to assert her human rights. She hates slavish mentality. Question 45. How old and how did the war between Bulgaria and Serbia come to an end? Answer. Bulgaria and Serbia were in war. The Serbo-Bulgarian war came to an end with the defeat of Serbia. At the Battle of Slivnica, Sergius led a cavalry charge against a battery of machine guns. The cavalry charge may be described as throwing some peas against a window glass. If a few peas are thrown against a glass of a window, the peas will roll down without producing any effect on the glass. Similarly, if some horse soldiers attack the artillery soldiers, the attack will be quite useless and ineffective. Sergius led the charge out of sheer ignorance. First of all, Sergius' advances show his courage. He is followed by 2 or 3 daring spirits. At last, the whole body rushes upon the section of the artillery. The Serbian soldiers had not right kind of ammunition. Suddenly, their guns stopped functioning. If they had right kind of ammunition, they would have massacred the regiment of Sergius. The Serbians were defeated at the battle. Being defeated, some of them took shelter in a timber yard. The Bulgarians set the timber on fire, and all the soldiers who took shelter there were burnt alive. The war came to an end with the treaty signed at Bucharest, the capital of Romania. After the treaty had been signed, the Bulgarian soldiers were disbanded. Question 46. Describe Catherine's reaction to it. Answer. Catherine cannot stand peace with the Serbians when Major Petkov tells her that the Treaty of Bucharest declares peace between Bulgaria and Serbia. She is deeply shocked. She is not in favor of making peace with the enemies. It is impossible for her to make peace with the Austrians who are depriving them of their freedom. It is unthinkable for her to tolerate peace with the Serbs. She wants to continue war. To her, war is a romantic game for patriots. To pacify her, Major Petkov says that peace does not have or make friendly relations with the Serbs. The attitude of hostilities is still to continue. He says that the leaders who made the treaty did not consult him. It was proposed to include the clause friendly relations in the terms of treaty, but at last it was omitted because of his opposition. But Catherine is not to be pacified. She wants to conquer Serbia and to make it a Bulgarian territory. She says that if he had been in the battlefield, she would have made no peace but carried on the war and conquered all the Balkan states, making Alexander emperor of the Balkans. Question 47. Why is Sergius not promoted? Answer. Sergius was a major in the Serbo-Bulgarian War. He led cavalry charge against a battery of machine guns at his own responsibility, disobeying the orders of the Russian soldier officers. First of all, he himself advances towards the enemies. Then he is followed by 2 or 3. At last, the whole body rushes upon the Serbian soldiers. The Serbs were defeated because they had not the right kind of ammunition. Their guns suddenly stopped functioning, so they had to court defeat. Though Sergius won the Battle of Slivnija, he was not promoted because he won the battle in the wrong way. He led the cavalry charge, violating the rule of military service. Soldiering is the art of attacking the enemies mercilessly when the enemies are weaker and keeping at a safe distance from the enemies when they are stronger. The horse soldiers who fight with the sword are certainly weaker than the artillery who use guns in fighting, so it is not wise to lead cavalry charge against artillery. If the Bulgarian artillery had the right kind of ammunition, the cavalry charges would be massacred. Sergius acts foolishly, leading the cavalry charge against a battery of machine guns, so he was not promoted from a major to a general. Question 48. What are the reactions of Petkov and Catherine to this? Answer. Petkov is a major. He did not favor the promotion of Sergius because he won the Battle of Slivnija the wrong way. His cavalry charge against a battery of machine guns was not supported by the military rules. From the professional point of view, his own action was condemned by the military authorities. If he is promoted to a general, he will bring about the ruin of whole of brigade instead of regiment by his unprofessional action of cavalry charge. Sergius's victory at the Battle of Slivnija is accidental. It does not prove his military skill. He cannot take a cool and realistic view of the situation. So Petkov thinks that Sergius cannot be promoted until they are sure that there will be no war for a long time. Thus, Sergius has no chance of promotion in the times of war. But Catherine is in favor of Sergius' promotion. We find her favoritism because she says that he should be promoted when he marries Raina. Sergius is betrothed to Raina. Catherine supports his promotion, judging not on the standpoint of military skill, but on the ground that he is going to be her son-in-law. We also see her patriotism in supporting Sergius's promotion, because she says that the Bulgarian army should have at least one native general. Catherine also thinks that Sergius has become the hero of women by showing his bravery at the Battle of Slivnica. She says that if Sergius is not promoted, women will use their influence so that he will be promoted to a general. Thus, Catherine wants his promotion not from the professional point of view. Question 49. What is Byronism? Answer. Byronism is the romantic ideal of life set forth by the 19th century English poet Lord Byron in England. Many people in Britain and other countries copied the ideas and attitudes of the poet Byron, and such a devotion was called Byronism. The French Revolution influenced greatly the people of England in the 19th century. The same influence was produced in the Balkan states by the arrival of the Western civilization. The French Revolution produced a spirit of discontent and a passion for destroying the existing order of things, which were reflected in the writings of Byron. Byronism makes a man think deeply on the failure to live up to the ideals. Byronism denotes a strange mixture of contradictory personalities, cynical outlook on life, scorn for humanity, childish simplicity, belief in the absolute validity of his concepts, the unworthiness of the world in disregarding them. It acquires a tragic and ironic air that leaves nothing but remorse. Question 50. How is Byronism related to Sergius? Answer. Byronism is related to Sergius in arms and the man. The Byronic hero is a mixture of different contradictory personalities. Sergius himself admits that he is half a dozen man in one. He has six selves: a hero, a buffoon, a humbug, a blackguard, a coward, and a jealous man. He is a Byronic hero also because of his brooding on the perpetual failure to live up to the ideals. He regrets that he was not promoted in spite of his victory at the Battle of Slivnica. Though the wrong way, he won the battle, but the Russian generals lost it the right way. Two Cossack colonels lost the battle strictly following the rules of scientific warfare, but they were promoted to major generals. They were promoted though lost the battle, but Sergius was deprived of promotion though he won the battle. So he resigned from his service, thinking that injustice has been done to him. Question 51. How did Sergius narrate the story of the escape of the Swiss officer? Answer. After the peace treaty has been signed between Bulgaria and Serbia, a friend of the Swiss officer, Bluntschli, accidentally met Major Petkov and Major Sergius. He told them the story of the fugitive Swiss. Sergius narrates the story in presence of Major Petkov, Raina, and Catherine. He says that the story of the escape of the Swiss officer is very romantic. They said that the officer was in the artillery regiment, which Sergius attacked with his cavalry regiment. He suffered defeat and ran away from the battlefield. The Bulgarian soldiers chased him, and in order to save his life, he climbed the water pipe of a house and entered the bedroom of a Bulgarian lady. The lady was fascinated by his persuasive manners. She was alone with him in her bedroom for an hour, and then she calls in her mother lest her conduct should appear objectionable, because it is wrong for a young lady to be closeted with a young man without the knowledge of the elders. Her mother was equally fascinated by his manner. The two ladies allowed him to stay there for the whole night. In the morning, the ladies disguised him in an old coat of the master of the house who was away at the war. Thank you friends for watching my video.